collectors, and welcome to another Bossk's Bounty video. And in this video I'm going to be taking a look at the Star Wars The Vintage Collection K-2SO from Andor. Now, very similar to the Bo-Katan review, this is a review that I've been putting off doing for quite a while. Essentially, it's just another repack figure, which is not a great thing to say. It is on a different card back, and it is on a nice Andor card back as well, which is great news, which means K-2SO will be making an appearance in Andor Season 2. So I will be comparing this figure and the card back to the previous version in this video, but mainly I'm going to be talking about the character himself, because I'm a big fan of K-2SO, and as you probably all know, I'm a big fan of Andor. So with all that being said, let's take a look at the card back and also compare it to the previous version. Okay, so here are the two card backs to compare. On the left hand side we've got the new version, on the right hand side we've got the original version. They've used a very similar green for the name pill and panel behind the figure, which makes these card backs look very similar indeed. The images are quite similar, but in actual fact the one on the right hand side is much better in my opinion. I much prefer it. It's an actual film out from the movie Rogue One, whereas the one on the left hand side looks to be very photoshopped. Of course, maybe they have got no reference of K-2SO from Andor Season 2 to use, so they've just sort of put this together to give us a new figure, if you like, but it's a straight repack. There may be some subtle paint differences, which we'll get to in a second, but in terms of the card backs, the only real differences are the name pills. You've got K-2SO actually worded on the left hand side, which they have not done on the original one. Of course, the movie logo, if you like, or the media logo, one's Rogue One, one's Andor, but apart from that, they are very similar indeed. Taking a quick close-up look at the new version, just so we can see the back of it as well. VC340, this is another reason why I'm reviewing this figure, because on my channel I review all of the carded figures, and from a certain point of view, when TVC 2.0 started, I should have a review on the channel of every single figure, every single number that's been released. Hopefully that's the case anyway. Vintage Collection logo on the back there. And the only other difference really is this is now the thicker cardstock, which the original version wasn't, which is a bit of a shame for the original version. But as I said, this image here, albeit looking quite nice, it does look pretty much photoshopped to me. I much prefer the other version. Okay, so we'll talk about the figure in a second and the differences that I can see between the two. But first of all, I just wanted to sort of talk about the character, really. I'm really happy that K-2SO is going to be featuring in Andor Season 2. That's two of my favourite things, really, from the Disney era of Star Wars. Rogue One, absolutely fantastic. But for me, the best thing about Rogue One was the introduction of K-2SO. Droids, as we know, have got a rich history in Star Wars, and they always seem to have like some kind of comedic value, and K-2SO was no different. I thought he was brilliantly done, brilliant design, a real proper Star Wars design for a droid, and I like the fact that he was like a reprogrammed Imperial droid and things like that. I just thought he was a really great character. And then secondly, I absolutely love the Andor series. I think it's fantastic. I think it's probably the best thing to come out of Disney Star Wars. And the fact that he is going to be in Season 2, and hopefully we're going to see a bit of Cassian and K-2SO's like origin story about how they met and about how he reprogrammed him and all that kind of thing. I think they've actually covered that in a comic, but I wouldn't be surprised if they sort of retcon the comic and do their own thing for Andor. So yeah, I'm really pleased that K-2SO is making another appearance. Very cool. I'm all for it. And of course that allows then Hasbro to sort of re-release a figure that they've already put out a couple of years ago. Now, in terms of the figure and the differences that I can see, immediately I can see that the one on the right, which is the newer version, doesn't have his eyes painted silver. Now, I don't know whether that is just my sample or if that's across the board. You'll have to let me know in the comment section below, but I think that is a bit of a miss. And as we've seen with a lot of Vintage Collection recently, we are missing some paint applications. The recently revealed Aura Singh, for example, is missing paint applications. We're missing paint applications on Cobb Vanth. It's just not good enough, really. And K-2SO's eyes look much better, in my opinion, on the original version. Apart from that, I'm trying to sort of look at his battle damage. At least they've sort of, you know, kept that. Some paint applications on his chest armour and things like that. You've actually got a bit of weathering around this piece on the shoulder. Some battle damage on the shoulder and things like that. So they have kept some of that, which is good. But in terms of the head, Mine is missing the paint applications on the eyes, and I don't know whether that is, you know, something that's going to be common across everybody's samples or if it's just mine. So as I say, let me know in the comments. But apart from that, I can't really see too much difference. If the eyes were painted on the right hand side and then you were to mix them up and give them to me and tell me which one was the new version, I probably wouldn't be able to tell you. So that's how close they are. So now we've taken a look at both of them together, the older version on the left hand side and the newer version on the right hand side. Let's just take a look at the figure in detail and the articulation. Alright, so the head is on a double barbell. You've got the neck joint and a joint in the top of the head, which allows for loads of range of motion. Get that sort of chicken motion going on there. We have the hinges at the shoulders, which go all the way round. That can actually tuck into the shoulder armour there. And we do have hinges at the elbow. You have to be a bit careful with these. They swivel. Hinges at the wrist, but again, be careful not to snap those. We have the torso joint, loads of range of motion there. We have the old style sort of hinged hips. Hinges at the knees, once again, be careful, they go past 90. And we have a hinge at the ankle and they swivel. So no rocker ankles with K-2SO. But he's looking pretty good. But there you go. You can really see there that you do not have those very cool silver eyes, which you do have on the previous version. I think they might be painted a little bit like a grey colour, but certainly they don't catch the light like the previous version does. Does have a more pronounced red dot on the side of the head there than the previous version. But there you go. And there's the little blaster that he comes with, and that doesn't look any different to the version from the previous one. Alright then, so that is the review of K-2SO. Not really too much to say about this figure because it is just a repack. I actually prefer the original release in terms of the card back and the figure because my previous version actually has better eyes than this version. But as I mentioned before, it's just great news that K-2SO is going to be making an appearance in the Andor Season 2, something that I cannot wait for. And in actual fact, I'm actually enjoying the Skeleton Crew as well. I've seen the first 2 episodes of the Skeleton Crew, really enjoying that as well. So on one hand, I didn't really like the Acolyte too much, but now we've got Skeleton Crew, which on the whole so far is pretty good. And then we've got Andor Season 2 to look forward to. So, you know, in terms of Disney content, Disney Star Wars, some stuff to look forward to. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you to my Patreon supporters and channel members. As always, your support means a great deal to me. So thank you so much. And we shall see you on the next one.